Go ahead, Dan.
Hello and
Oh, sorry.
welcome to another episode of the SKTLs Volunteers meeting YouTube video. Today we will have Bryce joining in a moment, I think. We've got Sanatsi Bilsell, legendary technology PhD, you name it, guy. You got Dan Geraci, chairman of the Planetary Society and CEO of Freefall Aerospace. You got Cody Willard, hedge fund manager, former almost famous TV guy. And Bryce, my analyst, hopping on in a moment. He's doing a transcript right now for my Trading with Cody chat that we just finished. Dan, you're headed to, here's Cabana, maybe. Mr. Cabana. He's hot. He's here.
Oh, there he is.
The man, the myth, the legend. Hi,
Yes.
Cabana.
Difficulties, my bad.
No problem. We started without
you. No problem.
He's growing the winter beard back, apparently.
Yeah, he's indoors now.
It is.
So.
Yeah. Looks good.
His winter coat. His winter coat.
Dan, you're headed to Singapore Friday. And you were saying that there's a whole VC boom going on there. What's the story?
Boy, is there ever. So Freefall is part of the Seraphim Space Accelerator, which is the preeminent program for space companies that are earlier stage. And they just opened an office in September in Singapore. They're based in London. They have an office in Silicon Valley. And now Singapore. And so part of our 13-week program, our trek, is we go to all the locations to meet with local companies, but more importantly, to meet with investors and who might have an interest in our businesses. And so this is the first one they're doing in Singapore. And the number of investors there, VC and otherwise, is exploding. It's becoming kind of what Hong Kong used to be before China got its hands on it. And I was talking to a very dear friend of mine who runs a very large family office in Boston this morning. And he was just telling me that he just came back from Dubai, where last week they had the Global Family Office Conference, which he chaired. And he said to me the number of families setting up branch offices in Singapore is insane. And he said the number of Indian family offices setting up in Singapore is crazy. And the amount of investment money coming out of India for anything having to do with India is over the top. But also the interest in things like space and any other economies where it's offering these countries a place at the table, if you will, for newer sectors, and space being what everyone thinks will be the biggest. He said it just blew him away. And he knows, he's like at the front edge of knowing everything that's going on in the family office arena globally. And he just couldn't believe it. And so I'm looking forward to next week, because obviously for those of us in the space business, there's going to be a lot of interest in having conversations, and I'll be able to report on that when I get back, because I should be having a good 12 plus one-on-ones.
How long will you be gone?
It's next week. So
we won't see you next week on this call.
No, not like unless
10 p.m. or something.
I think it's 15. It's 15 hours.
So 2 a.m.
ahead, or 16 hours. It's 14 or 15 or 16 hours ahead. So if I'm somewhere at some ungodly hour, I have no idea what it is, and I can jump on, I will, but no promises after 30 some odd hours of travel time. So it's interesting. I dropped an article in the chat just before we came on from Space News about this whole third wave of the new space economy. It's a short article, but it's an interesting read. That'll give you some perspective of how we're continuing to cycle through. Another thing you'll find in Space News today is this big announcement by Space Force of this $8 billion build of a new constellation of satellites that will be nuclear war-proof, if you will, that will have a space and ground component to this project to shield satellites and ground communications from nuclear attack, in order to keep U.S. Forces and communications and all that stuff intact in the event of a nuclear war. So, these are the things that sometimes we don't think about it, but the stakes are continuously getting raised in terms of defending our country and others. So this is going to be a big project. They'll issue RFPs, requests for proposals, early in 24. But this is going to have a big trickle down effect on the space economy, even though the builders of these satellites will be the Boeings and the Northrops and the Lockheeds of the world. When they build something, hundreds of companies come in as subcontractors, and a lot of this technology is going to be from new space type companies. Those are the kinds of things that companies like ours and a lot of others like ours say, okay, we've got to go submit. Let's start thinking about what we can submit. So the only other thing I say is tomorrow I'm going to Arizona State to speak to the space business and entrepreneurs class, which they have there as an ongoing class, to talk to all these students from different parts of the science and technology spectrum about doing startups and getting businesses started in the new space ecosystem. I did it last year. It's encouraging to see all the activity and all the interest and all the great ideas. But you'll see companies there. Last year, I spent time talking to someone who was going to start a marketing and creative services company for space companies. So it can be any kind of business, not just an engineering business. Jeez, no reason to get dressed up, Cody. Is that a noose or a tie? It's a tie. Okay, so don't do it. It's not worth it. It's you're muted, by the way. It's only the market.
Are you guys Harry Potter fans?
Oh, there you go.
It's Thanksgiving. It's Halloween, and my daughter is, what's her name? Hermione. Yeah. See, step back so they can see your whole outfit. Huh?
Oh, cool.
Awesome, Lincoln.
Jeez.
Is that good? You like the tie? Did I do it right? Okay. I can make it shorter if you want.
That's fine.
Okay.
Shorter. Yeah, short ties are always fun. So anyway, it's all of this to just say that there's so much still going on and the future's bright because there's so much in the way of new ideas coming up the food chain for us to focus on. The number of companies that Seraphim's seeing, the analysis they're doing, a lot of valuations getting hit, but for the right reasons, for some companies anyway, to reset.
But they're still raising money?
They're still raising money, but, it's an issue of there are good down rounds and there are bad down rounds. It depends on the reason, but there's a lot of companies having to reset.
Well, the thing is, like, even a good company like Relativity Space, I think, is probably going to have to do a down round at some point because they smartly raised money at the top of the bubble and, captured the highest valuation they possibly could have when the demand was bigger than the supply for space launch companies.
Yeah.
But, if you're not named SpaceX, you're probably doing a down round if you're in the space industry at some point in the next few weeks. Hey, Dan, could we shift gears for one moment? I want to ask Cabana Crypto. I didn't look today, but Hex is back. Got a bid with the Bitcoin boom. Is that all the news? What made Hex rally 200% in the last week?
I think that might be. There's two hexes. There's Hex on Ethereum and Hex on Pulse Chain. So the Hex on Ethereum, I guess somebody with $100,000 had some fun and made it run. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is.
$100,000 moved it 200%.
Yeah, there's on Ethereum. There's hardly any liquidity. So yeah.
The
And on
tail
Pulse
wagging
X,
the dog.
where did it go up on Pulse X?
Yeah, I think the ratio is like 1.5 to 1 Pulse Chain to Ethereum. So, yeah, I think it's just like the SEC stuff. Like it's like it or not, it's DeFi. Like you can go after one guy, but there's 40 some thousand validators scattered across the world. It's truly decentralized, and it's going to go on, no matter what. So.
I push back because I just think Richard's got too much to call it truly DeFi. But at the same time, let's talk some crypto, which there's not even a guy for them to go at. I always thought one of the funniest things, remember when Zuckerberg at Meta, which, by the way, I'm sure just reported earnings that I haven't looked yet, but it's flattish after hours, so market might actually not be freaking out for once, bull or bear. But regardless, Zuckerberg years ago was trying to launch that, was it Libra? Is that what he called his crypto? And he said,
the Facebook stablecoin.
And Congress called him up and said, what'd you say, Cabana?
The Facebook stablecoin.
Yeah, Facebook stablecoin. But the Congress and SEC called him up and gave him a hard time and basically, pushed him back from doing it. And at the time I wrote, you can't do that with Satoshi over at Bitcoin. There's nobody to call to testify, nobody to go prosecute, no nothings. But let's talk Bitcoin. Congratulations. Bryce pointed out to me the other day, he was like, hey, Cabana was dead right. He said if it breaks through 27, it's going to 35. Is that what you said?
Something to that effect. Now, I did say I didn't expect it till Q1, but we got it. So there we go.
Regardless, it took off.
See, all those people that were there that were waiting for Q1. And
yeah, that's right.
My bags were packed, so I'm good.
Good. Mine too. As you know, I'd been buying it in the hedge fund, and I've owned it personally for, I guess, 10 years now. But in the hedge fund, we were loading up on it for the last few weeks. And then today we did trim about 20% of our Bitcoin out of the hedge fund, took it off a little bit in this bull rally, bought a few puts on some relatively silly crypto Bitcoin miner companies that are either wildly overvalued and or probably fraudulent. Like, I won't say names. But anyway, yeah, I think, but it's exciting to see the pop, right? I mean, it's been a long time coming. We came into this year below 20,000. Bitcoin's now up over 100% this year. It's got to be the best performing asset not named Meta.
Yeah, I mean, I did see an interesting tweet or note yesterday. It was like the last time that Bitcoin had, I forget what kind of percentage gain, maybe 5 or something percent gain versus the S&P actually not going along with it and being down was, I think it was October 2020. And pretty much that was the start of Bitcoin breaking out and going to like 69K in the next 3 or 4 months. I'm not going to say that's going to happen this time, but it was just an interesting note that I saw. It was like, because usually they're still correlated somewhat. But
have you trimmed it all?
No, because I just have a bag that it's just cold storage kind of thing. So
okay,
yeah, I'm not overly in it. Like if we get to like 60-ish, yeah, then I'll do it. But I'm not trying to chase pumps or anything like that. So
no,
I have faith we'll get back to all-time highs and beyond someday, but I'm not trying to gain
10 years from now. Cabana Crypto prediction for Bitcoin. We're going to do a round table. Don't laugh, Dan. You're next. You better get your number in your head.
10 years.
Get my
10
finger.
years. Your figure.
I think I think this is gonna. I hate these predictions, but I
This is
hate
so
Moon
far.
Boy
What's
math.
the
But I think we get to like a 7-figure Bitcoin maybe in 10, 15 years.
All right, I'll go with $1 million in 15 years.
Yeah.
Sanatzi,
15 years?
10 to 15 years. Come on, I'm going to record this and put it back.
what's the
up
weather
on
going to
the-
be?
Uh,
What's the weather going to be? It's Saturday.
200,000.
Dan,
I think it's greater than $500,000, but far less than $1 million for sure.
all right,
You
Bryce.
know, there's so many factors. It's, you know,
Yeah, so Nazi took my number. I was going to say 200, but I'll take 250, or I'll take $200,001.
what is it? Price is Right.
So
And
I'm
the
going to
answer
be the guy
is,
that goes over and gets disqualified.
come on down, Bryce.
Turn your mic on, Cody.
Cody, you keep muting yourself, Cody.
He doesn't care.
What do you?
Cody, you're muted.
This is secret chat.
Is your sound working?
Yeah, I didn't want to echo with Bryce. You see our new
Oh.
sign? You guys know about the Tesla Dojo supercomputer? That's what it calls a supercomputer. So now we wanted a dojo sign at our office, a flag. And so we have the 10,000 Days Dojo flag, and we quote Bruce Lee on it. Always a great quote. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times.
There you
Yeah.
go. Well, you went around the room. Let's end with you. What's your call?
$10 billion.
Come on now.
Now, look, I mean, 10 to 15 years, you're going to have crises, you're going to have wars, you're going to have financial crises, you're going to have bank bailouts, you're going to have all the things that the fiat currency system, sort of keeps afloat. And as I've said for 10 years now, all fiat currency roads lead to Bitcoin. And it is the safest cryptocurrency on the planet. Doesn't mean that it's quote unquote safe, but it's certainly safer than any of the other junk out there. Meta must have hit. It's up $13-14 after hours. Woo woo. And
Makes up for Google.
yeah, maybe we'll see. It needs another $20 to make up for Google.
Yeah.
10% decline. But look, Bitcoin is higher than here. It would be my expectation, and maybe $1 million would be the high end of things. But even from here, a 10 bagger in 10 to 15 years would put you at 350,000. So I'm going to come in at 350,000. Now,
There you go.
there you go. Any other crypto news out there? I mean, it seems like there's a lot of moving pieces. The reason for the Bitcoin breakout is that it's got
Whatever it is.
no pun intended there.
Yeah. Bitcoin con. Yes.
The con coin is that you had the SEC. Well, you had courts push back on the SEC and say, look, you're going to have to actually look at these Bitcoin ETF ideas. And you've had, what was the other news, Bryce? I looked up and saw Meta.
Got all excited.
Bryce isn't even listening to me. But look, it's, the Bitcoin breakouts, it's fine. The whole reason why, I guess, is people are trying to front run a potential ETF being hit. It's sort of like the halvening in some ways, though. I can see a sell the news reaction to both an ETF approval and or when the halvening happens, especially as we rally. You get a 50% quick move like this. It builds some sell the news kind of pressure up in it anyway. So
yeah. I think we can hang around here. I mean, the best thing for it right now is like for some churn, I think, and just build another base higher here. And then, we break out of that, and I think like mid 40s is next on the bullish side.
There you go. Bryce, make note so that you can tell me Cabana was right again when it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did misspeak slightly on the eHex thing. It was more than 100,000, but that was one of the pumps and wallets that was in there. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to clear that up.
Nobody really knew what we were talking about anyway, but you and
I
me.
agree.
Yeah. Yeah. This is not a Hex community call.
It is not, but you asked, so
I did.
I like to
I did.
keep
Well,
my
you're wearing the Hex
information
hat.
correct and consistent.
Do you wear the Hex hat when you're not on YouTube calls, or is that a special?
I have an entire collection. This is Pulse Chain, by the way.
Yeah, whatever. It looks like a Hex hat. Pulse Chain is Hex in my mind.
In your mind, yeah.
It's Hex-ish at least.
There you go.
Hex related.
Yeah.
So Nazi,
Sure.
you want to talk
Can I-
about anything space
Yes.
related or crypto
No,
related or?
Not space related, but SKTL related. So I don't know if you have looked at the latest, excuse me, number of transactions and the token holders. So the number of token holders went up a little bit, and the transactions, like about a month ago or so, was really down. And so there's some activity, which is good. And by the way, you are now in the token holders. You're down to number 9.
I am. There's more
Yes.
people own more than 1 million tokens.
Yes.
8 other people own more than 1 million SKTL tokens.
Correct.
That's awesome.
There are 2 million token holders that I didn't recognize. They're
Not
excuse
2
me.
million token holders, but 2 holders
sorry.
with 1 million
2
tokens.
million SKTL holders.
No,
2
there's not 2 million people who own
Right.
SKTL.
No. There are 2 people.
That's what I just corrected.
Yes. that's
2
what I meant.
people owning 1
2
million
people
SKTL.
owning a 2 million, yes, SKTLs.
I think
Okay.
that number is
Yeah.
that number is only going to grow if people hold and we keep doing these yearly rewards. So,
That's right. Come on.
It's like the $1 million lottery. You win $1 a year for 1 million years. It's the same thing.
yeah.
So also, when you get a chance, you don't have to do it. I mean, I'm talking to all of you. Try the pancake swap and to see actually you see anything, because the message that I'm getting is failed to load price chart for this pair being BNB and SKTL. So I'm not getting any graph that I'm used to. I made sure that I also connected the MetaMask, but still nothing is showing. So if you want to do a transact, I mean the SKTL as a token is still available in the drop down, but when you select it, still on the left hand side, normally there's a graph, that shows you the price points, and that graph is not available. So
So Nazi, will you tomorrow text me offline and I'll hop on with you? I'll try and do it, and talk to you while I'm doing it and see if I can pull it off. See what you're talking about.
I'll actually, yeah, it's easy to do. I'll send you. I'll post it in the Slack, the link to what I'm talking about. You guys can look at it offline if you're interested.
Cool. I will.
Maybe I'll mention that that I'm not seeing what I used to anymore, and maybe other people will have a different experience than I. So I'll post the link.
Cool. I'm your Huckleberry, Nazi. Anybody know the reference? Know the reference? See the poster behind Bryce? The painting picture, whatever that is, a pencil drawing.
Is that Senior Earp?
Doc Holliday.
Doc Holliday.
Yeah. All right, last questions or comments. I don't feel terribly well. Everyone in my household's been under the weather for about a week, and I've not been. But today, my back's aching me a little bit, and I don't think it's just the triple Qs being down 2.5%.
No. A lot of people getting sick. My brother just got COVID. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
nah.
All right. Well, peace and love and happiness,
Jesus,
everybody.
relax.
We'll cut it. What's that, Dan?
No, nothing.
We'll cut it a few minutes early today and see you guys. Same bat channel, same Skytle place next week. Appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for everything. I'm sorry my energy level's a little low today.
No problem.
Yep, you're even a little low today. So
Have a good trip, Dan.
How'd you do that,
Oh.
Bryce?
oh, how cute.
Giovanna, did you do that?
I did not do that. Did
How
you
did
say
that
happy
happen?
birthday or something?
I don't know.
I don't know.
That was cool, though. I'm like Balloon Man.
Yeah.
All right. Peace and love, guys. Thanks for everything.
Be well.
Yeah,
Take care.
have a